How are you talking about what to expect? How are you doing this so that the consumer is educated, empowered, and delighted when they come out of closing?
Welcome to the Maryland Real Estate Influencers Podcast, where we explore the ins and outs of the local real estate market. Join us as we chat with industry experts, uncovering tips, trends, and strategies to help you navigate Maryland's real estate landscape. Get ready to elevate your real estate game. Let's dive in. Good morning, y'all, and thank you for tuning into another episode of Maryland Real Estate Influencers Podcast. I am your host, Jennifer Healy, and today I have Tim Hooper and Andrew Hooper from Fidelity National with us. Thank you all for joining me today.
Absolutely, Jennifer. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Jennifer. Pleasure to be on with you. It's getting here December, right? The weather's getting cold outside, but you're such a warm personality getting on with you this morning right before we're starting here. It's great to be with you, and thank you for having us.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to have you here. I was introduced to you by Erica Gibbons, which is a longstanding friend of mine in this industry, somebody I respect very much with her integrity, the integrity that she has and that she comes to work with every day, and as well as her faith. So those are my two favorite parts of Erica, besides her just beautiful heart. And she has told me some amazing things that you all are doing there at Fidelity. So if you would take a moment and start out with tell me a little bit about y'all and who you work for and what got you into this business.
Sure, Andrew, why don't you start, or do you want me to start?
Well, you take it away, big brother.
Well, what got me in, Jennifer, is a great question. A lot of people ask, how did you land in the title insurance industry? And well, somebody told me it was real estate, and it is, right? We're the real estate services side, and we're working with settlement agents, real estate attorneys all day long, keeping them compliant. There's so many threats out there now with wire fraud and all that. But as a national insurer, we're the paper, right? We're the policy that is written by our agents. So, we work closely with the Jennifers of the world, with real estate agents, and with, industry professionals to get people into their homes. So that's the basics of it. Somebody told me it was real estate. I was coaching real estate agents. I was speaking around a lot of the associations, and an underwriter reached out, and I had no clue. So essentially that's how I got in. They said it's real estate, and we could bring some of what you're doing to help communication. I talked about energize your sales, and they're like, that could be something that would be a lot of value to our title agents and real estate attorneys. And sure enough, after entering the industry about 5 years ago now, I just found this beautiful marriage, such a welcoming group of people, such a family feel. And speaking of family, I reached out and recruited my brother from a big financial firm, national company. So, Andrew, I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, Tim dragged me away from what I was doing, kicking and screaming, because I didn't know anything about title insurance. Again, I was doing a lot of management and leadership training and team training, working for JP Morgan Chase. And so to take a step away from that was a big leap for me to get into the industry. But the beautiful thing, and what Tim did so well as the quintessential salesman, is help me understand that we make a huge local impact in this job. Sometimes you work at a larger company, you can lose the meaning behind things in life, right? It's more widget based, or you're more metrics driven, and that's all fine and good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with metrics, right? But at the end of the day, that personal fulfillment, we get to go in and help business owners and lenders, real estate agents, title companies be successful. And with our background in the marketing and sales piece, that's really where we focus. That's where we live. That's where we hang out. And it's a lot of fun. So yes, Tim recruited me. I stepped away, came over for the first couple of years, primarily in Maryland. And then now both of us in our role with Fidelity, we were really are over the entire Mid-Atlantic, which we end up spending quite a bit of time up in Maryland and with a lot of our friends in the industry there. So it's a very small industry. Once you're in it, you get to know everybody very fast.
Very fast. That's very true.
It is.
So for those that don't know Fidelity, Could you tell us a little bit more about your portion of Fidelity, dealing with Fidelity National and the title insurance portion, in case there's agents on here that know of it but don't know what it encompasses?
Sure. So Fidelity National Financial is the nation's largest title insurance provider. So, we here out primarily in the Mid-Atlantic area, we're working with title agents. So if you're a real estate agent or lender, you're probably interacting more with a specific title or settlement attorney, more than you're interacting directly with us. We're underwriting. So we're their title insurance policies that you need as a lender for every loan that you do. And then, it's optional for consumers. So we're kind of in that space, but we're all about helping everybody in the transaction be successful. So where Tim and I live, working for Fidelity, is very much in the business consultation, sales, and marketing space. And so, for example, our title agents we work with across the region have access to us to come help coach and train. And, if it's getting on video, if it's coaching a sales team, if it's looking at their internal operations and finding, like Tim mentioned, wire fraud, things like that, we're looking through a very business consultative lens at all of the title agents who support you, Jennifer, lenders, and real estate agents. We're making sure that they're delivering the best product to you, because your consumer needs to know that you shine and that you're partnered with the right partner on the back end of the transaction. So yes, in a nutshell, that's kind of where we live in the space. And I'll let Tim fill in any blanks that I may have missed there, but go for it, bro.
Again, it goes back to, some underwriters, we're the nation's largest, but some underwriters, historically, they're appointing agents. They're, allowing that agent to write on their paper and ensuring that the policy, and then they're collecting remittance, right? The premium, and then working claims when claims come up. So Andrew likes to call us the underwriter, because we've reimagined what that partnership, what that channel partner is for a title agent and real estate attorney. And so because of that, we've been out in the field, like Andrew said, getting attorneys on video, talking about all the cool things about what makes them special, but they've never, jumped into the tech side of it, or the necessarily sales side. Sometimes it's marketing, as far as, hey, hire a marketing firm, post on LinkedIn every day, and hire a website company, and that's it. And we'll just hope the business comes in. And, this business is so word of mouth anyway. Everyone does all right, but it's that concerted focus, that sales effort. And we've really helped our agents and title attorneys reimagine that. Well, then that spills over to the loan officer and real estate agent, because they see this attorney getting on video. They're like, hey, I want to get on video. So in turn, we get to get out in the industry to the associations, Andrew and I, and do live podcasts, video trainings, AI trainings. I do so much sales coaching to loan officers, real estate agents, and title agents, because I think that trifecta is so interwoven. So we're, again, to sum it all up in one concept, underwriter, because we've rethought, how can we become that value adding channel partner? And it's really cool.
Yeah.
I'd add one thing there, Jennifer, too, before we kind of move on. I think from a real estate agent's perspective and from a lender's perspective, this industry is so, you're not just working within your silo of your company, right? And you need to be aligned with a good brokerage that has good resources. You need to be, that works for you. But then on the back end, it's like who you work with in a title company, that matters to most realtors and lenders heavily, because there's value there that they bring to you and your clients. And so partnering with the right ones, what we've tried to do is just enhance our title agents' ability to give even more value to the real estate agent. And as Tim mentioned, that sometimes means we're teaching real estate agent classes and lender classes on getting on video and starting a podcast or starting a YouTube, like all of the above, AI, whatever it might be. So for any real estate agents listening, make sure you're partnered with a title company who's adding that level of value, because they're out there. It's not just about dollars at the end of the day. Some people just look at the bottom line, but if you're in it for the long haul, the dollars are fleeting. You do 10 transactions this year, you get your money from those transactions. Are you building a relationship that's going to last you long term in this industry? And that's where having the right partner that adds true value, helps you learn new skills, helps you level up yourself personally and professionally. That's really who you want to align with if you're trying to grow a business in this kind of a market right now. where it's tough.
Yeah, I knew that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, it's all good. One other thing I was going to say is when you look for a title partner, vet them. Flashy's not always best. And Andrew and I talk a lot about getting on video and leveraging AI and sales and having that organized approach to your sales. While those things may sound techie and flashy, we're digging in with AI and video to say, how are you talking about wire fraud? How are you talking about what to expect? How are you doing this so that the consumer is educated, empowered, and delighted when they come out of closing? So don't just look for the flashiest title company out there. Vet, as a real estate agent or loan officer, vet them. Ask them, what does your wire room look like? How are you protecting my clients' funds? Because one wire fraud wipes out not only the dream of your client, but it can also wipe out you as a real estate agent or loan officer, your business, your reputation. So make sure you're partnered with a credible title company, not just the flashiest title company.
I had a settlement on earlier this week, and I understand that we all get busy. And I understand that everyone loves to communicate via email because it's really quick just to send your part and be done and kind of wipe your hands of it. And probably because I'm a little bit older, I'm cresting 50, and that I've been doing this for 25 years, I prefer to pick up the daggone phone and have a conversation. I don't mind an email as a backup to what we said on the phone, or if you're dealing with multiple people to send an email to make sure everybody's on the same page, but I just prefer phone.
Yeah.
I dealt with a title company that never spoke with the borrower, and they were a first-time home borrower, sent a wire. The borrower's calling me, asking me what to do. I'm walking them through, and I'm happy to do so. And I said, call the title company, call the woman that sent you that email. And I always tell borrowers, if we don't have the exact number, let's just roll up to the nearest 100, maybe to the nearest 1,000, depending upon where we are. Sure. If we have tax figures or certain, if it's in Baltimore City and there's a issue, always roll. I said, but call the title company and said, the title rep that will be handling your settlement, do they have the ability to cut you a check back for the difference? Some do have that ability, some don't, depending upon the company and their rules. They couldn't even get the person on the phone to return the call. And I just thought, and because of what you guys just said, it's not about the flashiness of it. It's about who's actually thinking about the customer's needs and the information that they need. These people were Gen Zers, young, but real smart, and they research everything and they ask a ton of questions, very insightful questions. All they needed to know is, did you get my wire? Yes, we received it. It's a lot of money for somebody, especially in your first transaction. What's the difference between an enhanced coverage and a standard coverage? Thank you for sending me the brochure. Could you get on the phone with me and have a 3-minute conversation? Yeah. Could you I was shocked at how little correspondence, and it's all email, went between the title company and the borrower. And I think that's because it was referred and not something that the borrower searched out for. And when it's referred, I think people let down their guard a little bit and don't do the same due diligence that they would do if it was a lead that came in. And I just wanted to get your perspective if y'all are seeing that in the industry, because I was a little shocked by it and pulled back. And then I thought, oh, maybe this is just me being me. And just because it's a different way.
Definitely not. You do, Jennifer, you set the standard high. You do, and we know that. And so thank you for having those high expectations and standards. But you have described the problem perfectly. It's why we're here. So, I mean, what do they say? Or the best companies, they find the problems and solve them. We just decided we want to take this to the next level, and we're living in a time frame where the millennial, the Gen Z, and I don't like to box people in, but you understand the next big, huge, massive wave of home ownership and buyers. They're an empowered. They like to know. They like to research. They like to find. They like to TikTok it, Instagram it. They like to do their research. And it's not so much go sit down with an attorney and have a conversation and have them teach me everything. It's let me get online, see what I can find out myself so I can educate myself part way and make an informed decision. So I think,
well,
yeah,
Tim, as you were saying that there, it goes back to the long haul. If you're referring out your business to a title company because it's just right now, it's just the most advantageous for you, whatever that means. I'm not going to go there, but whatever that means. Cool. But if they do that to your client, we know in real estate, the average turn time for a client to buy another home or upgrade or downgrade or move, 3 to 5 years now? So if that's your experience, remember the title company you're using, your partners in real estate are an extension of you when you refer that deal. And trust gets broken if you refer to somebody that's the service isn't good or it hurts you. So your chances of capturing the second, the third, the fourth deal are incredibly low when your partner doesn't do a good job for you. They're not going to come back. That client's going to be less responsive. They might put up with it. We've all been to those closings where it was tense because there were some issues. But when you take some of that business for granted and you just steamroll through, like at the end of the day, you come out the other side and it's like, okay, I got that immediate deal. But if that service wasn't there and that follow-up from the title company and that extra level of wow that Tim and I like to talk about in customer experience, if that wasn't there, you're hurting yourself. Yeah. And I had a real estate agent right down here where I live in Virginia that I reached out to once. I never even used them because I asked about a property and they told me like it wasn't available and then said, okay, have a nice day. They never asked me a follow-up question. And then 5 minutes later, I was put into their little AI text message drip. And I actually just got another AI text message drip from them just this past week, wishing me happy holidays. I've never worked with the person. So I don't care how good or streamlined your follow-up is. If that initial experience didn't go well, the chances of you recapturing that long-term business, that is truly, if you ask any solid real estate professional out there who's been doing it for years, they will tell you that their book of business is the gift that keeps giving. So you have to get it right on the front end. Yes. You have to get it right for that first deal. That allows your follow-up to be effective.
Yeah, you're right. You're right there. I'd love to ask y'all, one of my favorite questions to ask on this podcast is about your daily success plan. It's very important to me. It's very important in my business. And I would love to know from each of you what your daily success plan looks like and when does it start? Does it start the night before? Does it start the morning of? If you are open to sharing with me.
Absolutely.
Andrew, you want to start?
Yeah. So for me, it normally starts the week before. Normally it's me on the phone with this guy right here. And we're looking at the entire week upcoming. We do spend a lot of time on the road. So the success plan is make sure, and it goes back to the basics. Make sure you know where you're going to be. Have you given yourself enough margin in between for travel times? Have you confirmed everything that you needed to confirm when it comes to business? And then personally, for me, it's about making sure you get enough rest, especially when you're on the road. Are you getting enough rest? Are you able to show up and be present fully? So personally, rest, making sure that you have margin, making sure that you're taking care of the number one asset, which is each of us in our business. Sometimes we don't view it that way, but that's the way it is. And then it starts a week out for me. And then, of course, as you go through the week, you're going to confirm things as we go. But that's kind of in general, in a nutshell. I like to keep it simple. That's what I do to make sure I stay on point every week with my obligations. Okay. And I'll let Tim chime in. He's a little more intense than I am. He gets up and runs every morning. So
no, not every morning, but thank you, Andrew, for sharing that. And we spend a lot of time. I think communication is so key, especially if you're working with a team or you're a leader responsible for a team. Over communicate. I know our business, our regional leader, if he so much is going to be out for a few hours or a day, I mean, you're going to get an email. Hey, gang, I'm here. I'm doing this. So over communicate. So Andrew, thanks for nailing that. I'll bring it down a little bit more personally to the mindset, to the habits. For me, it kind of revolves around 3 key pillars of my life: perspective, ownership, and accountability. So the night before, I'm thinking through the ownership piece. What are the 3 major things I need to complete tomorrow to move my goals in my life forward? So I like to have those. And I oftentimes, and if you're like me out there, drop some notes, drop a comment in the show notes here or on the stream podcast. But I like texting myself. I'll text myself. Like, we all have memos. We all have memos and notepads and journals, but I'll text myself because then it's up there in my thread very
Yes.
next morning. And I could just remind myself of it. But I like to nail what are the 3 key things. I'm going to get inundated with email. I'm going to get phone calls. Everything else is going to be good because it's business but a lot of it's reactionary stuff. I want to proact to my day, right? I want to be proactive. So ownership, what I'm going to own, what I'm going to go accomplish and complete 3 things. And any more than 3, you could have a whole to-do list. For me, it's these are, I could put money next to each one of these. These are going to drive my bottom line forward. Or it could be like relational equity, but still a dollar sign because it's relational equity. So those are 3 things I'm going to own. And then I think through who do I need to call, follow up with, impact. So I think about the accountability piece for me is those are people I'm in relationship with. And this isn't always just business. This might be a referral partner. This may be a family member. Andrew, our brother's birthday's yesterday, right? It's like, don't forget your family, the people who are actually going to be there for you for your life, regardless of what job you work or whether you're a failure or success. They're going to be there. Don't forget those people. So that's the accountability. The perspective piece is just kind of how am I doing? How am I thinking? Was today a rough day? And I'm just going to count my blessings for the day. I'm going to count the small wins. I was very frustrated last night. I laid my head down. I wasn't feeling good. And I counted my blessings. We're doing this big conference in January, and we had 20 something people register because our team did some smiling and dialing. Like, that's a big win. But if you're not careful, you're an overachiever, you'll just be frustrated all the time. So you need to make sure your perspective, your mindset is, like Wayne Dyer says, when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. So for me, perspective, mindset, ownership, what am I going to go do, accomplish, and then accountability, who's coming with me, who am I accountable to? So I like just text myself, line it up, think through it, journal something. I like to journal the gratitude piece, but then it gets me up better, right? And then when I wake up, I review it. Get your big glass of water going and then just stay on the water all day long. Stay hydrated. Andrew is always telling me, protect the asset. You got to sleep. I've got 4 kids. He has 2. So, you crazy schedules, younger ages. So you have to protect the asset. Get your sleep, be intentional, say no. So that's what am I going to say no to today? So I could go on, but those are some of the playbook items for me.
Tim, when you were talking, it just one of my mantras, Jennifer, that is the today me taking care of future me.
Yes.
So when it comes down to it, the little things in life and business are what either hold us back or move us forward. So when it's the same reason you guys send yourself that text message. For me, I'm normally throwing it into my calendar. I'll just dump into when I know I have my follow-up Friday or whatever I have, I'll dump that in there. But you think about a lot of us in this industry spend a lot of time, windshield time. And I'll call out something I've learned immensely from my brother Tim here, and I'm not even as effective with it as he is, but we know when we have our drive times scheduled most of the time for the week, we know where we're going, where we're going to be, or we have an hour drive out to show a home to somebody, or for us, we're driving between 2 clients and it takes 45 minutes. Do you know, has past you taken care of future you to say, hey, in this time that I have on the windshield, here's 3 people I need to call and follow up with? And so that's part of that weekly planning. It's like, who this week do we need to circle back with? And then making those phone calls when you have the windshield time and actually doing it. Like, so many times I think there's a guy that says you're at any point, you're about 2,000 calls away from being a millionaire. Okay. Now, I don't personally like this guy, but I believe that you're at any time in your life, you're 2,000 cold calls away from being a millionaire. So in this industry, who have you not called? Who do you need to call? It's so easy to get in that mindset of, okay, I'll just call them in a couple weeks. We're in the holiday season right now. This is the time where if you actually call, you will win.
Yeah.
Don't take your foot off the gas because everyone else is doing it.
Right.
This is the time to go double down. So very powerful thoughts there, Tim. I get inspired by Tim. That's why I came to work with him, really, because he's an inspirational guy. So
too kind.
I know that you have the ease that you focus on, that when we spoke in the green room, you were mentioning before about energize, execute, and evaluation. And I'd love you to kind of go deep for us and tell us more about those.
Yeah, I'm going to take energize. Andrew's taking execute, and we'll both talk about eval. So, years ago, people called me the energy guy, and some of it was ADD, ADHD. Some of it was just I'm the connector. I'm middle child and a bunch of siblings. And so some of it was just that, but a lot of it was I did have that more of a glass half full mentality. It was about reframing. It was about always moving forward, getting past. I was always the encourager. So for me, I was like, hey, how do I bottle up the energy and go out? So I went on stages, started speaking, published the book, God Energy, was doing all of that, running around the country. And what I got tired of was not tired of, I'll never get tired of it. But what saddened me was while I would get on stage and get everyone hyped, right? God energy, energized. And we all need a spark at times. We all do. We need somebody to come along and breathe on us and reignite us. So I'm all about igniting energy. That's what I do. I love it. But what saddened me is, yes, we're going to do this. And then tomorrow it's a notepad that you took great notes at a conference, but it's in your desk drawer and nothing really changed. Now, maybe you moved a couple little things or changed something, or maybe even a way of thinking or whatever. Great. But how do you now go plan? Because we can all hear a great keynote speech, but what am I going to do? And how am I going to go do it? So I'll call Andrew out on this. One of his strengths in my life has always been, okay, bro, like when I was talking about publishing my book, he kind of just stand there very calmly. I'm like, yeah, it's going to be great. I'm going to sell 1 million copies. That's great, bro. So how's the first chapter come? Right. So it's always the breakdown of how are we going to go do this? I call Andrew the executioner for a reason. I always joke that he needs to get the tattoo, go execute on his arm, because that's what he always strives for is, okay, great. Now, how are we going to go do it? And that's what made him very successful as a leader in, corporate America, and still to this day in corporate America, we're in the largest title insurer, but a leader, because he looks at the entire team and says, how am I going to break this down so minutely that we can all have clarity and go execute on it? So Andrew, I don't want to steal your thunder, but I mean, energize is great. You got to start there. You got to get that spark, but then how do you have your vision, logs on the fire?
Yeah, you got to have your vision, and you hit the nail on the head. I got sick and tired leading teams of seeing them go to something we paid a lot of money for them to have, coaching or whatever, and they get a playbook and they come back and it goes in the drawer and nothing gets done. And I think a big reason why we never launch, why there's failure to launch in our businesses, especially when you're a real estate agent and you're you have to control your destiny, is because we might be overwhelmed and there's some fear. And a lot of the things that we take away are things that make us uncomfortable. So the key to execution is stop making it so hard on yourself to do something. Give yourself some small wins. If you're going to a seminar or coaching, especially I see real estate agents chunking down thousands of dollars for different classes or different trainings to go to and do, and then they come out and they never do it. I mean, I know a guy who spent like 10 grand on how to do a YouTube channel, and he still hasn't started a YouTube channel 3 years later.
Wow.
And that's where you're putting your time, money to it. And to me, that boggles my mind, because you can do all that stuff easily for free anyway. That's number one. But number two, what's one thing that you all can take today that you've just been sitting on? It's kind of like, man, I would want to, but you don't think it's a have to in your business. Yeah. Getting on video is a have to right now. Going out and figuring out new ways to farm neighborhoods and find new listings and drip on your database more effectively, not just using AI as an easy button, but as an intentional, like, how do you put yourself into AI and help it help you? Figuring that out, it's critical right now. It's not a nice to, it's a have to.
Yeah.
So what's that one thing you need to do it? And then the accountability piece is find someone who's going to not always be stroking your ego. Find someone who's going to come alongside and say, dude, what are you doing? Or girl, what are you doing? You need to
that
be doing
accountability
that. We've talked about video 5 times. I still haven't seen
Andrew,
one.
that sounded a lot nicer than what you say to me.
I know. You get away with more with your brother, right?
I love that. I have accountability partner I meet with every day at 11 o'clock. And it's, did you get it done? Okay. You didn't. Oh, okay. I understand you had this happen this morning. I understand. Life happens. Business happens. I'll call you in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Is it done? Is it done? Is it done? I thrive on accountability. And I think that every day you have to do something to generate business today, generate business for 30 days, and generate business for 90 days. That's my goal every day. What did I do today that generates business today, next month, and in 90 days? And if you have that mentality and you focus on that in your day, no matter what you got going on,
Yep.
And I think that's the most important part of my mornings when I make my calls, is that's what I'm generating.
Yeah.
And I think more people need to focus on that. I know we're coming close to our end of our time, but I wanted to get into AI because we've mentioned it several times. Could you tell us a little bit about what you all are doing with AI and how you're utilizing it?
Yeah. So again, start with mindset first and then go execute, right? So that's kind of the format for success that we live by. So, I think everyone should be using ChatGPT right now, specifically as a tool. It's still the best out there as far as, a large language model. And the key with ChatGPT is don't go tell ChatGPT to make you something. Go put yourself into chat. Tell ChatGPT about you and have it help you make content that's like you. So that's, to keep it short. I could go, I teach a whole class on AI around this stuff, but to keep it very short, like, you need to be focused on how do you take your voice and use AI to amplify it and streamline your content. So that's number one. Video creation. If you're getting on video, starting with long form video, like what we did today, a 30-minute podcast that can now turn into 25 pieces of content for us for the next month out of one setting, is critical. And you can now use AI. There's a great platform out there called opus.ai that we use heavily to crop up all our long form videos, and it does all the editing and captions for you. So you really don't have to think. It can take your content posting, video posting down to about 5 minutes a day. So those are just the top two things. So using it in our video, and using it in getting our other communications out there, be it website materials or articles, et cetera, with ChatGPT. And then, of course, with your marketing pieces and your campaigns, you can use it to streamline for as well. So, Tim, anything you'd add there around AI? That's just the top two for me.
Yeah, no, thank you. And Andrew said it, tell them who you are. Don't give away your social security number, but tell them who you are. Andrew, I still need you to text your buddy Sam Altman over there and tell him I still can't upgrade to 4.0. I'm still on the free version.
Exactly right.
I'm on the wait list too.
So everyone who has it, like Andrew is saying, see, I told you. But anyway, they're going to come out with like a $105 version now or something. We're all going to jump on it. But so anyhow, iterate down. Don't just take what it gives you. Talk back to it, get it to you. But then, Andrew, I love it. Stephen Covey says, begin with the end in mind. For AI, I like to say, begin with AI in mind. Think about, there are tools out there that can help you, that can save you time. Okay, how do I start with that in mind? We're doing it today. Long form, get on, talk with your business, talk with your industry, talk with your business partners, get them on some form like this, talk with them, and then create some content that can, and not just so that you look flashy. Again, flashy fades, remember that, but thought leadership, selling concepts, how can we make the industry better? What do the consumers need to know? How can we empower people? Like, be a thought leader, right? Spend time being a thought leader. So I think leverage AI, begin with the AI in mind. And I know we didn't really go back and touch on the evaluate piece on the 3 E's, but this is part of when we come back after energizing, after executing, this is part of evaluation. Okay, we're executing well. How have we maybe fallen into a rut in that execution? And AI is a perfect segue, because to evaluate and say, how can we do it smarter, faster, more effectively, because times have changed. So we need to evaluate the execution, right? So energize, execute, evaluate, and AI is a great segue right to that.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. So
fun.
If somebody wants to get a hold of you, and for example, Andrew mentioned that he teaches an AI class. I'm assuming it's going to be, you're going to also teach people about prompts that are required in order to get AI to extract the information from the system that you need. If somebody is interested in that class, how do they find out about the class? How do they find out about you, what you offer, when the classes are?
So in our posture with Fidelity, we teach through our title agencies. So go ask your title agent you partner with about the Hooper brothers, and we're happy to work with them to schedule time, either with your brokerage or with them, where they have a class they bring you out to, whatever that is. But that's our posture here in the Mid-Atlantic for the classes we teach. And at times we will speak for some of the associations, the different county realtor associations. We've done some classes, but again, we're always going to be sponsored by one of our title agents in this role that we're in with Fidelity. So, Tim, anything you'd add there?
I think a great question is, ask your title company or real estate attorney that you use, hey, are you an agent of Fidelity? Because again, we're channel partners. Anybody tied in with an agent of ours, we're going to come out and help. And like Andrew said, we're going to do that through an agent. So that's a great question to ask your partners. Are you an agent of Fidelity? It's a great time. Perfect. It's a great time to look at what we're doing different and become one. So
yeah, I can tell you that all the title companies that I do business with personally, whether it's Black Oak Title or Front Door Title or Mid-Atlantic Title, that you guys are the person or the title insurance company for each of them. And these are the ones that I've had the relation, and Lakeside Title for the last 20 some odd years, 25 years I've been in the business. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you guys so very much.
Thank you
for coming on here and sharing your wisdom with the community and sharing the insights of what you have to offer. And I am going to reach out and I am going to schedule a lunch and learn and set that up and have you guys come and teach some of our agents a nice lunch and learn. I think I might set it up in each of the counties that I work in.
There you go.
I would love to do that. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you. Keep up the great work. Pleasure to be on with you, and look forward to seeing you in person soon.
Oh, that would be lovely. Absolutely lovely. Thank you both for your time. I so appreciate you.
Yeah, you bet. Take care.
All righty. Thank you for joining the Maryland Real Estate Influencers podcast. We'd like to ask you 2 favors. Number 1, forward this podcast to 3 of your favorite realtor friends. They'll thank you for it, and I'll thank you for it too. Number 2, we'd love reviews. It helps get the word out.